So, good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the WoT Pro League. We've had a little bit of a break, but hopefully not too long of a break to get these teams to, unused to what they're going to be in for, because we have a whole new season coming up. Season 3 is just kicking off today, so if you did miss any of the Season 2 action, we do have a video lined up in just a moment to take you through that, but I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what you might have missed. Now, we went to the finals, we went to Gamescom, and it was pretty incredible, to say the very least. We saw the 6th place person to get through, the very last person to scrape in with a chance of getting that, very small prize pot, only 50k. You know, it's pocket change. But obviously that was Evil Panda squad. Now they fought hard and bravely all the way through, and they went all the way to the grand finals to face off against WoT Pro. Now, sadly, they couldn't quite pip them to the post there, but nevertheless, they did give us a good showing. But there's a lot of other teams involved through that. Season 2 showed some real talent springing up throughout the entirety of the World of Tanks community. So we've had a real treat through there. So just in case you have missed it and you're a little bit newer to the World of Tanks scene, especially the WoT Pro League, we're going to put you into a little bit of a video that will recap exactly what you missed at the Gamescom finals.
Welcome guys, Gamescom 2013. As usual, Wargaming is prepared to rock the show. Our esports team is ready. There's like 1 billion people around, as you can see. It's hot, it's sweaty, people all over the world. It's Gamescom. So let's roll and check it out what's happening in our esports booth. We managed to move a few meters in Gamescom, guys. It's crazy. There really are 1 billion people here. But our booth at Wargaming here with 708 square meters, full of fans, full of players, full of esports. As we have at our booth, the WCG German finals, as you can see, or will see later, top 3 teams playing there for the goal to go to China. But hold your horses, that's not everything, because our partner ESL prepared here a massive booth for the Season 2 finals for World of Tanks. Over 300 square meters where the top 6 teams of Europe are playing for the big money. So let's go check out who will be the winners this time. Let's roll out.
Today is a very important day in our lives, in my and my team's life, because we've prepared for this particular event for a very long time.
We are really optimistic, we have a good atmosphere, and we are really well prepared.
The pressure is off, we're gonna fight for the gold, and we will give everything we have to achieve as much victories as we can tomorrow.
Yes, of course, we have some special ideas that we want to realize in this match. I think we can get it.
Hope we still reach semi-finals.
The teams are going to be powerful, the games are going to be insanely good, we know it. We're just waiting to see who is going to be the champion of Season 2 World of Tanks Pro League.
In the final we will play with WoT Pro. It's a really tough opponent.
We're extremely excited about everything. The tournament was great. I think it was like a very big step forward comparing to previous, like DreamHack, and especially so great that our team at last we became first, because first season we also were motivated only to take first place, but we placed second and now we are first. So extremely happy, everyone. Team is great. We are all happy. We will drink hard today.
WoT Pro absolutely destroying the other teams all the way through. Evil Panda squad put up such a great fight, but in the end, WoT Pro just destroyed them. It really was one of the best finals we've had so far, the crowds, the atmosphere, Gamescom, everything awesome.
We are really happy that we can play here and we are on second place. A big prize, really.
This is real big success for us.
Yeah, it's big prize.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Thank you, organizers. Thank you, Wargaming Europe, and thank you all these people who are staying here and like supporting us. This was really great.
And, well, hopefully that gave you an idea of what we got treated to at the end of Season 2. But with everything that comes to an end, there has to be a new beginning, surely. And we are being now given Season 3. Now, with every new season, there's always a chance for new teams to come in and try their hand against the very best. Now, there are 2 new additions to this season. There have been a lot of changes in that little bit of a downtime between, even to some of the bigger teams. So hopefully, my lovely co-caster, my one and only, I haven't mocked him yet, guys. It's a new season. I'm trying to be nice. What changes have we seen so far in that little bit of downtime? There's only about 2 to 3 weeks, but there's so much been going on.
So we'll go through the new teams first of all. We've got one SPP, Ulanska Fantazja, another Polish team joining us there. They actually qualified through Go4, coming in first place. I think they qualified by going second in Go4 115 and third in Go4 116. So some good results there. And then our second one is also a Polish team, which is Seven Sins. They qualified through coming very good results actually in A series coming first there. So 2 new Polish teams in the running to add to our already pretty extensive Polish lineup. So hopefully they can add a little bit more, you know, show us what they can do in this third season. And then apart from just the new teams as well, we've got some cool changes as well. Well, cool for some people perhaps. Dragonborns got dropped by Odin Mortis. So Odin Mortis is just Odin Mortis at the moment, no sponsor. You can see that on WTProLeague.com. I caught up with Magus for an interview on that one as well. And then the kind of roster lineups, we've got changes. So first map is going to be Evil Panda Squad versus one SPB Ulanska Fantazja. I'm going to trip over that like a million more times this season. That's a ridiculous name. Evil Panda Squad got a couple of them. They got Mungun for the win. He's a player in Pirates. Very, very good. Very, very good. He's going to do wonders for their teams. I think, you know, maybe even as good as Runes did for Kazna Crew. He's also got UCINPL. Haven't really heard of that much of him, but I've heard he's a pretty good player as well. Maybe taking up that T1 role. And obviously, Poto Mako has joined Mousesports from Evil Panda Squad. So 3 pretty big changes for Evil Panda Squad. We'll have to see how that's going to change this third season. Obviously, they came second in the first season. So why they changed their lineup so much after such good success, I have no idea, but perhaps some changes, some things going on we don't really know about. Apart from that, in terms of D-Nova, which is the second team we'll be seeing today in match day 1, obviously, because it's one match day for a day, Monday and Thursday. So it's Nick Lemos has joined. He was in season 1 as well. He's a T1 player. Everyone knows who he is. So infamous. And then MSDNT has also joined. Not sure who he is. He's another wild card. He could do wonders, or he could go disastrously wrong. So a few changes here and there. I'll talk about the other teams as they come throughout the season. I'll talk about their changes as well. But those are the 2 big changes we'll see for today in the teams coming up. So all in all, pretty interesting. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, indeed. And I don't even want to guess how I feel this is going to go, because I've never seen Ulanska Fantazja before. So they're going to be a completely new team to my eyes. I know their kind of play style, but that's completely irrelevant sometimes, as I found out in the finals. And EPS, we know they can turn up and do well, but with all those roster changes in mind, I have no idea where my predictions are going to be for this one. I think I'm going to leave my mind blank, because I want to see this season kind of evolve throughout it. But you guys at home, you might miss a certain female who's normally in our shows as well. We've had to bring her back in. We tried to get rid of her. We tried to lose her at Gamescom, and we failed there. She even managed to get up on stage somehow, and it was like, dear God, she's back again. But she is back for Season 3, which is the important part. We've missed Melly a little bit. I missed her at the finals, I've got to say it. No one does social media like Melly. So let's pass over to the social media queen, who can take you through how you can get involved and how you can get your predictions through to us.
Lucky you, I like you so much. Hello people, welcome, thank you for tuning in. I'm back. I just firmly grabbed my chair so nobody could carry me out of the studio. So that's why I'm sitting here again. And yeah, I'm your link to the show. You can get involved by, for example, asking questions to our 2 lovely experts sitting next to me. You can tell me your opinion. Whatever you want, you can talk to me via the Twitch chat, and yeah, basically everything you want. One channel to get in contact with us is our Facebook page, facebook.com/WoT Pro League. it's easy. The Twitter account is the same. So if you like using Twitter, then just use Twitter. I will read it anyway. So, and of course, we're not empty-handed here. We have loads of bonus codes for you. So if you get involved, if I like your questions or what you text me, you may get a bonus code. So try your best. That's all.
Well, trying your best is the main way forward. You know, get involved. I might get a few tweets out, you know, slyly under my pretend account so I can get some, you know, points. It might be a little bit mean otherwise if I'm tweeting the results a little bit early.
Yeah.
I'll try not to do that.
Cheating, I think is the word.
I'd never do such a thing. But let's have a look at the lineups head-to-head if we can, see if the lovely producing can chuck that up for you, because they are a new bunch of people to your eyes. If you've, you know, watched Season 2, if you watched Season 1, you might still be a little bit surprised by what you're seeing. So take us through these two.
So Ulanska Fantazja is not really a team I'm not familiar with. I mean, of course, I've seen them before. They came fourth in IEM Katowice back in January, so they are pretty good in the whole, and especially they've had a couple of good results before that. They came, I think they came last in Eurosteel 2012, but you know, even coming to Moscow was an achievement in itself. So an experienced team before. I mean, names like Crazy Ketchup jump out. I remember he was one of the first players in World of Tanks, so he was playing in closed beta in the early days, like November, December. He's pretty experienced, to say the least. Definitely a good artillery player. Absolute beast in that S51. So Ikarum, Radio PL also come out in that list. The rest of them are a bit unknown to me, but I'm sure we'll get to know them throughout this season. And then obviously on Evil Panda's squad side, we know who they are pretty much, apart from their new players. Ace, brilliant T32 player, charismatic guy. Eclipse, we got Sony, he's the team leader, team captain, team organizer. Zenef taking those 3 roles as well. So all in all, pretty good team coming up from Evil Panda squad. Mungun for the win. Their new player, UCINPL, also their new player. So we'll have to see how that one works out. I'm not sure if they're going to be using them for these matches coming up. Obviously, they want to be sticking to that well-known lineup. So those are our 2 teams for today. Our first match, at least. See how those perform here. But I'm thinking, you know, on Himmelsdorf, which will be our first map, 1SPP, Ulanska, Fantazja, and Evil Panda squad are probably going to be a pretty close fit, because both being Polish teams, they're pretty good on these city maps. You know, they use the heavy tanks very well. So I'm looking forward to how these teams are really going to jostle out for this first map.
Indeed, and the tighter the better. But let's have a little look at the tank picks coming out so far. It's Himmelsdorf, so it's not going to be something crazy, I can imagine. But I'm sure I saw a T32 coming out. Is this something you think they might be trying to throw a little bit of a curveball at EPS with, or do you think it's more of a viable pick these days? Yeah,
we've seen it a little bit. We saw it from WoT Pro. I mean, they didn't win the match, but it's coming back in there. And also, Natus Vincere, Navi, used it against Mousesports in the NVIDIA GeForce Cup finals in Seattle PAX. So that was an interesting pick. They didn't win that one either, because they used it on steps for some reason.
That's a strange pick.
Really strange. It was, you know, they got absolutely crushed. But still, apart from that, it's your AMX 5100s, your T69s. You know, we're looking towards 8.8, which is supposed to be released on Wednesday of this week. And obviously, the T69 gets a -50 penetration nerf, which will probably, I think, remove it from the proceedings. I think we probably won't see it so much. I think the AMX 5100 will definitely come in a little bit more than we already see it. We'll probably see 3 instead of 2 on Himmelsdorf, and that goes for Ensk as well. But for now, both teams picking 1, as well as the standard double AMX 5100 double T32. Apart from Ikarim's also picked the 110, the Chinese tier 8 heavy tank, opting for that really powerful front armor. Have to see how that one works, because we have seen it on Himmelsdorf before. We saw it on Ensk, Dinova pioneering that tactic. Not impressed so far, though.
No, it hasn't really stood out to me yet as a viable choice over, you know, maybe the IS-3s or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe we can see that coming into its kind of, you know, its temperament, really. So I need to make sure I'm not being a complete noob, and hopefully I can rejoin here. Yeah. There we go. I was being a bit of a noob, guys. It's the first day of Season 3, all right, guys, at home. You know what you're in for, okay? Just take your time with us. We're warming back up to it, all right? It's been a long break. I've been catching up with the other regions, to be fair, though, which is one bonus. I've got to say, I've had a chance to watch, you know, some of the the Korean side of things. I watched the NA last night. Hopefully you guys did as well. If you haven't, make sure you check it out. I think it's WGL NA, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you check out those VODs. There's some It's a really weird difference, to be fair, the way they play it out. That's the one thing for me. There's so much variation. I did manage to catch Himmelsdorf, actually, of all things. So interesting to see how these guys go about it. It's all eyes on the new guys for me. I want to see if they can turn up and if they can compete at a top-tier level. Obviously, Evil Panda Squad are pretty much at the top at the moment. They came second, and what they did at LAN was highly impressive for me.
Yeah, they did a really impressive performance. They usually do quite well at LAN. That's the good thing about Evil Panda Squad. You know, they always turn up and perform, and obviously they won IM Katowice. So surprising, I think, that they did quite as well as they did. But then in some ways they've got that experience.
Yeah, indeed. That's the main thing. They do have it behind them, but can they keep that consistency up online? Because you don't have that kind of fire behind you when you're at these offline events, and sometimes it's hard to keep that real momentum and that kind of pressure up. But you know, it's all about that consistency. So I want to see what they're really in for here. I want to see them make sure they're actually 100%. But anyway, guys, we are almost ready to get underway in the first map here into
Himmelsdorf is the city maps of city maps. It's a small one, being 600 by 600 meters. There are 3 routes of attack: the hill, the banana, and the train side. The middle area is relatively easy to push, however can end up in disaster as you can be flanked from every side. The road, often called banana, allows for direct head-on assaults but requires a lot of resources. Both the railroad area and the road next to it are good routes of attack, being very open and straight. However, for those very same reasons, you can be easily caught out and taken down. The map features many densely housed areas, which provides good places for engagements and routes of attack. Teams must be aware of the various routes their opponents can take through the map, as well as the hull-down positions enemies can take throughout the entire map. The trick with Himmelsdorf is to catch an enemy tank unsupported by his teammates and then use that advantage to collapse on the entire enemy team.
So welcome back, ladies and gents, and welcome to the first map here. We will be seeing Evil Panda Squad in blue on the north spawn, whereas in the gold and yellow, it's the new boys to the club. Let's see what they can do. What are we seeing so far here?
So the new boys, see after they kind of play Himmelsdorf, every team has got their own style, and with double T32 lineup, they could be playing it completely differently. Going for the hull down position straight away, that's pretty smart play from them. Obviously, the T32 has that 298 millimeters of turret armor. So first shots coming out, T32 not landing any, IS3 not landing any either. So kind of initial engagement. The 110 to the right as well, not double T32, it's a 110. The 110 is the same amount of HP. So those are going to be trying to keep the banana road, try and keep the hull down positions. T69 is going up the hill with the T1 as well. So at the moment, they're kind of covering all the bases, waiting for the other team to make the first move, and also just making sure they have most of their firepower towards the banana.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange one for me seeing this is the fact that Zenef, the AMX 5100, is actually holding banana, whereas both IS3s are keeping eyes down the 6 line and just keeping tabs on that T32. And I'm curious to see why. Why do you think they've adapted so much to this sort of lineup here?
I think they just want to make sure that they have as much firepower towards the banana, because I think, they've been watching VODs, they've been watching replays from Go4, etc. And they just want to make sure that they really have as much firepower centered ready for like a long spearhead push, which is Ulanska does quite a lot.
Oh, okay, so maybe you're already reading into the opponent a little bit there. So nice to see that these guys are fully aware of each other. A couple of spots coming out for the blue side right now, which obviously is EPS, Evil Panda Squad. Having a little glimpse of crazy catch-up, and they're keeping eyes on, but Evil Panda Squad didn't really go for that hill claim. They've left the T1 back quite passively. Has that actually allowed anyone to get some presence towards there? Because I think there's a spot earlier on of it. I
don't think they've really clocked onto that fact. I mean, you can see Ravi OPL in that T1 is just waiting for the first move from Evil Panda Squad. He's waiting to try and get some proxy spots. I'm not exactly sure why he's chosen this position. Usually you go forwards about 150 meters to that house there and just try and get the 50-meter proxy spot. Not decided to do that. Crazy catch up. The other T1 towards the left side, ready to spot up the 2-3 line. First spot coming out onto Sony 43, the team captain of Evil Panda Squad. So straight away, Ulani, they have that advantage of knowing, where Evil Panda Squad want to push, because usually if you send a T1 up one side, then it's because you don't have as many tanks there. It's kind of like you either have loads of tanks there and you're trying to find, targets for them, or you don't have any there because you want to try and find information. But we got a push from Ulani. They kind of pushed forwards a little bit. They haven't found anything for Evil Panda Squad. Ikarim's going to poke around first in that 110. He has got an extreme amount of armor, but the whole of Evil Panda Squad kind of relocated to the left. So these teams are kind of dancing at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. Literally back and forth between these two. As you can see, they've completely gone over towards that railroad side. Pointer, Zenef, New Multi-Show, and both IS-3s have now relocated there, leaving one tank, which is Eclipse, just down by the other side of the map. So all eggs in one basket, maybe predicting a push one side. But what are we seeing from the new boys here?
So Ulani just trying to find the first couple of spots, not found anything, and I think they're just trying to get some damage down, or at least try and get some proxy spots out, just trying to get that information. They're a bit worried that they've pushed up so far and not found a single tank for an Evil Panda Squad apart from Sony, but that was spotted by Crazy Ketchup in the T1. So perhaps a little bit worried. The first shot does come out from Ikarim. He misses Eclipse in his T1, so at the moment both teams even. But Ulani look aggressive, and that's quite strange because I thought they'd be quite a passive team, but they're, you know, bucking the trend of the new teams being passive, willing to push forward even against the second place finisher of Season 2. So good to see them really step up to the mark. They said they've been training a lot, 5 times a week, at least a couple hours a day. So they are taking this league very seriously indeed, and who wouldn't if there's 50,000 euros on the line?
Yeah, a lot of money depending on these guys and the plays they make. But as you said, there's 5 minutes left on the board, and the Fantazja side have actually made all the way across. There we go. Ikarim does manage to take down the T1 of the opposing side, but both IS3s now fully eyes aware of the push that may be coming through. I'm curious to see if they can land those shots. They know where he is. The rest of the side have kind of split across the rest of the map, making their way down that 1 and 2 line, keeping eyes on so they can't get flanked. Smart play from them. But they seem to be playing more depending on the reactive nature here. It's not about the taking the aggression, but saying that Zenef did find the other T1, but that's a easy frag for a MX5100 there.
Yeah, very easy frag, but that does leave the whole of Ulani in the cap, and they know they're going to push in.
Oh my word, damage being dealt already. Good damage up from the IS-3s from the Evil Panda Squad side, but as you said, the entirety of the Fantazja side are completely and utterly engaged into that cap circle. What the hell are the Evil Panda Squad going to do? They're a little bit cautious of going down here, because it looks a little bit like Death Alley. The 5100s are splitting across through the map. Zenef and New Multi-Show making their way around, trying to keep eyes on that 5 and 6 line. Here comes the damage. That T-32 has been hit, but there comes the reply shot onto Zenef. It's a real close situation. Finally, the clock gets reset. That was necessary there. They need to get that shot landing. Fire is coming back, but it's a little bit tentative. And oh, there we go. Finally, the big shells are landing. The IS-3s are making it count. 2 tanks have gone down, the important tanks at least, for the Fantazja side. And EJS in a good position. Oh, he just allowed Bell to come through and take down his teammate. Can he actually reply here? He's being focused out by 2 members. Make it 3 of the Fantazja side. Even though Evil Panda Squad do have a base cap on the way in their own way, the T-32 is going low. Maybe they can turn this one around, but this is really rather close. I've got to say it. If the remaining tanks of the Fantazja side can take out this IS-3, they've got a little bit of a chance here. But Ace is not going down without a fight. He did manage to get a bit of a shell connected, but will fall to Netfo there. And now that T-32 still standing, T-69 and that 1-100 are still up really and kicking. They can do some work here.
They can do some work, certainly, and Pointer's going to get engaged.
Yeah, Pointer being taken fairly low, 629 already. And that's Netfo getting in on this one. The 110 now comes around, knocking him down to 337. New Multi trying to back up from further away, but Evil Panda Squad have kept them so far away that that clock is ticking against them now. So, well, Ikarim has got another one, taking down that T-69, so he's working it out there, but don't get me wrong, they're really being pushed to their limits. It's a 3v3 now, but bear in mind, Evil Panda Squad do only have that T1 left. That 5100 splitting off. Bell is hot on the heels of whoever is daring to get towards their flag. Where is that little cap point? It's Sony laying in wait. The rest of the team are making their way back as quickly as possible. They know what's happening, but the base has been captured, and Evil Panda Squad, just in the nick of time, do manage to pull that one off. But if Bell got there a second earlier, I'd have felt he might have stopped that and then could have turned that situation. Evil Panda Squad read it well, but it was a little bit messy from them, considering, you know, the Fantazja side are literally just in this.
I mean, that's the power of the T1 coming in again. Yeah. You know, you get engaged and perhaps you lose the heavy tank fight like Evil Panda Squad did then, even though I thought they could have won it. And then you have the T1 to back you up. You can put the pressure in the cap. It's exactly what Evil Panda Squad did. And then what they did really well, which was really smart of them, is that they put one of their heavy tanks down that middle road. So any kind of push from Bell in that MX5100 across to try and stop the T1 capping, he would have got completely blown away. He was on 110, which is a one-shot for every single one of of Evil Panda squad tanks left apart from that T1. So I think they were pretty safe in that tactic, but they had to make sure that they got the timing right. You know, Ace did say a lot about how, you know, if Evil Panda squad can get their timing right, they can be one of the best teams. And that's exactly what they showed there. Got the T1 in there early, got it capping early, gave their team enough breathing room just to hold off the rest of Ulani, and then let them kind of take the win towards the end of that game. So a really good play for Evil Panda squad. Good to see them that they have that, you know, base tactics, reactionary play. Ulani, a little bit inexperienced, especially with that 5100. It was kind of tentative around that corner. It should have pushed straight around. It might have had a chance of stopping the cap if the heavy tank missed, or perhaps it's to hit its track or gun or something like that. So that, as long as that chance exists, always take it.
Yeah, so, well, it's their first game here, though, bear in mind. Of course, they've just come into the WoT Pro League. This is the best of the best here. So it's a little bit intimidating at times when these guys are coming in fairly fresh-faced to this, and they're like, oh, Jesus Christ, our first game is against the guys who almost went all the way through to win Season 2 finals. It's a little bit intimidating, a bit daunting, but I'm kind of hoping they can warm up a bit, 'cause I like the initiative they took. They took the fight to the opposition. They didn't play passively. They didn't just go, well, we're playing against one of the big guys here, let's turtle down and play slowly. It was, okay, let's try and take this into our hands. I feel as though if they held the rotate a little bit better there, or at least they had to get, a player back, or at least knew that they were going to be forced, then maybe they could have done something there. Maybe a little bit of a better read into how the situation could have played out.
Yep.
Not just that initial, all right, let's do this and hope it pays off. Think, okay, if this doesn't pay off, where do we fall back to? Where's our reactive play coming in? That's kind of the big guys, realm of abilities. You look at, Virtus Pro, Na'Vi, you look at any of the top-tier teams, even if their initial strategy doesn't work, whatever they fall back to, whatever adaptation they bring out is normally so spot on. It's pretty impressive. But anyway, that was the first map. We've got a second map getting ready to go. I think they are ready to get picking, so hopefully we can drop into Prokhorovka. And once again, I don't know what to expect from the Fantazja side. They've shown aggression. They've shown fairly confident tactics, but they don't execute them that well yet. Maybe that little bit of teething problems might hold them back here, because I feel that Prokhorovka really does kind of hammer you down on your executions.
I mean, it's such an open map that it really does require that coordination between your players. And if you don't have that experience together, you don't have that synergy together, then it can go really wrong. But I think, just because they are quite used to playing with each other as a whole, I think they could do pretty well. I have seen them play on this map before.
Okay.
Not so impressed, but that's the old Ulanska. This is the new one. We saw how aggressive they are there. I was expecting to see a really passive team. In perhaps like a previous team, I think, Team WD were quite passive on Himmelsdorf. I think they didn't expect them to push so far forwards and be so aggressive and take the initiative like they did. So if they do that on Prokhorovka and they continue doing that throughout Season 3 as they build up that experience, they build that layer of perhaps defeats to begin with, then they're going to start winning. And then perhaps they're going to start niggle those top 6 spots and perhaps even go all the way. So I'm really looking forward to see if they can do that, if they can build that experience, which they desperately need. But we can jump in. Our second map will be Prokhorovka and the just begun tank picking. So we're expecting AMX 3090s from both teams. At the moment, T69s as well. Although I think, once 8.8 hits, we're going to be seeing predominantly the AMX 3090. Perhaps, I'm not sure, the T71 could be used in some respect along with that T2 or the new T2. I think it's the machine gun car or something like that. The MX 3090 T1 for both teams to begin with. Evil Panda squad picking that T1 and the T69 next. Responded by Ulani in the T1 and the MX 3090. So at the moment, pretty standard picks. Not expecting much else, but I've heard in 8.9 as well. Tier 4 to tier 7 artillery is getting a buff.
Okay, so
we could be we could be seeing tanks like we used to love, the Sturmpanzer 2, the Hummel, the Grill, etc., all could be coming back into the game, which would be amazing for maps like Prokhorovka and Steps. We'll have to see how that one rolls out. Obviously, 8.9 is still some distance away, but back into Prokhorovka. Just waiting for the pick from Evil Panda squad next. They will be picking that T69 and the AMX 3090. So going for the high firepower and the high burst damage of those two tanks. So good pick so far, standard pick so far. Evil Panda squad not wanting to have an upset at the beginning of the season. These are the maps. These are the games you want to be winning, because at the end of the season, when you have to take that one win to get in the top 6, you're like, why didn't
we do it first?
Why didn't we just put the effort in at the beginning when it really mattered?
Yeah, it does suddenly all come back to haunt you. That's the thing, and you saw a lot of teams, literally coming down right to that last point, where it's, if we had one more game, we'd have been going to the finals rather than the team that went. So all these really do matter, but what are we seeing? Has anything else come out so far?
No, just another mirrored pick for Ulani, the MX-3090 and the TC9. Last pick for an Evil Panda squad will be the 3090 as well, and expecting the same from Ulani, otherwise known as 1SPP Ulanska Fantazja. Excuse me if I'm...
They're being called Fantazja from now on, all right? That's
I don't even know if we're pronouncing it right. I think I've just heard it from one of their players at Katowice, that is how you pronounce it, but I might be getting it completely wrong. So,
look, if I had my way, I'd call them Bob. All right, so Fantazja is their new name.
Fair enough, fair enough. T69 is the last pick from Fantazja.
There we go.
Or Ulani. I don't know what's wrong with Ulani. Ulani's not that bad.
Can't say that quickly.
No, all right.
Bless them. But no, we got all the tank picks now?
We have got every single tank pick. It will be the double AMX 3090, triple T69, or I think it's actually the triple T69, double AMX triple MX 3090, double T69, double T1, and the quadruple MX 3090 T69, double T1 from Ulani.
All right, so we know what we're in for. We've seen the tanks, we've seen the players, we saw the first map. But Prokhorovka, I don't know who this one suits more. I've seen Evil Panda Squad doing wonderful things here, but I don't know if it's one of their stronger maps. I wouldn't say I've felt that this is one of their strongest, but I don't know, we can only wait and find out. But if you guys are new to World of Tanks, let's give you a little bit of a run through of how this map can be played out.
Prokhorovka, a large map at 1,000 by 1,000 meters which allows teams to stretch their legs and artillery to test their skills. There are 3 primary routes of attack: over the left tree road, the middle area and towards the town. The tree road is very open and flat but has a very large number of bushes and trees that provide good cover if you're not shooting. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. Both teams are fairly symmetrical and only offer small hills and brushes as cover. The middle area is where the initial engagements happen as teams gather as much information as they possibly can. The railroad that splits the map has a large number of bushes running alongside it that provides good cover and the occasional route of attack in the village and hill area. Teams should look towards taking fast tanks and artillery as they complement each other on this expansive map.
Well, they're a new side, all right? They're new to this, okay? They're not quite, up there yet with Evil Panda Squad.
We had that problem at Gamescom. People couldn't join battles. I think it was probably Kaz and the crew. Literally couldn't join a battle. We were like, oh, guys, just join it. It's like 10 minutes later. Yeah, it was just amazing. So these guys are taking up that ticket pretty quickly. We'll be restarting this one, Prokhorovka. Hopefully we can get into that one quickly, just waiting on the last person to leave the battle. I think that could take some time, depending if his internet has dropped or something. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just be waiting for this one. So Prokhorovka, we can talk about it a little bit because Evil Panda Squad almost beat WoT Pro in the finals on this one. This was the one where I think Poto Mako went on the hill and got himself completely just obliterated within the first minute. And then Evil Panda Squad just played amazing. They went in and they almost beat WoT Pro, just losing by 1 tank. If they had that 1 tank left on the hill, which would die in the first minute, then they would have won it. And I think that would have given them momentum. So Evil Panda Squad, this could be like their Bane map.
It could very well be, but obviously the first map has already happened. And while we wait for these guys to get back into the action, I'm going to throw you over to our lovely lady in social media who can kind of give you an update as to what's happening out there in your world and kind of give us an idea of what's happening. Because we get like locked into this tiny little studio and we're not allowed to leave. So it's quite nice finding out there's something going on in the big bad world. Anyway, we're going to pass over to the one and only Melly so I can shut up and save my voice for the game. How are we doing, Melly?
Thank you, Fancy. Well, since most of you people know that the poll function on Facebook got removed and we couldn't work with it the last season, I found an app for you guys where you can vote and where we can see how you people think about is going to win the matchup. And actually, head over to a Facebook page first, like it, and then you're able to vote. Beside that, we of course have our usual betting game, let's call it like that, our little contest where you can guess the exact outcome of the matchup and win bonus codes. So the current standing of this voting system I implemented just like 3 minutes ago is 81% for Evil Panda Squad and 19% for 1SBP. So
wow.
That seems pretty clear at this moment.
We know who the fan favorites are, at least. Dear God. Horrible people out there in the world of social media. They are so mean. But anyway, they have sorted out their problems, so hopefully we'll be back into this in just a moment. And there we go. You can actually see it. All is sorted, which is an awesome sight to see, because it's slightly worrying when these guys take a while. They had trouble counting down, to be fair. They were struggling counting from like 15, then someone said 10. They were all over the place. They're new to this. They'll catch up, don't worry. Our producer likes confusing these poor new teams, makes them panic in the time down. But we will be getting underway into the second map here, which is Prokhorovka. In the north, in blue, it will be Evil Panda Squad, the team one map up, who pretty much all of you are backing. But in the south, in that golden yellow, it will be Fantazja. So what are we seeing so far from these two?
So Evil Panda Squad just pushing straight up towards the center of the map to begin with. Pretty standard tactic from them, just hoping to get the initial spots. Not Evil Panda Squad, Ulanska Fantazja. The MX-90s, they have picked 3 of them. They had picked 4 in the previous round, but obviously they've substituted that for the T69. But look how aggressive they are being. Straight down, straight through the middle, hoping to catch out Evil Panda Squad on the rotate. And they are going to get the first couple of shots off.
They are indeed. This is absolutely unbelievable. They are going all out right now. Netvo has received a shell. The T69s are trying to get into the action. They're not actually landing that many, and that's allowed those 1390s so much more ground. But here comes the fire. Bell has been taken down to 890. Further shots being fired off, but New Multishow still sitting pretty. And that man is such a danger, especially in those T69s. But just about everyone from Evil Panda Squad is really being pushed to their limits here. This is an unbelievably aggressive start.
Very aggressive start from them. They did take quite a lot of damage. One of the MX-90s down to 612, the other one down to 890, and the third one down to 873. But the T69's a bit slower in the background, ready to provide the firepower. That's why Zenef is down to 614. But look at that, the other T69's come over the hill.
Yeah, here comes New Multishow, the man who does not miss. He lands a perfect shell onto that 1390. Pointed now gets into the action. Bell's his next target, takes him down to 412. He's not backing away, he's going in for the kill. Takes him down to 176. Netvo does get the reply shot coming in, taking him down to 680. But the damage is being dealt towards Ulani. They have actually tried so much to go aggressive here, and it's just not really paid off into their favor at the moment. But it can still turn around. Bear in mind, Eclipse finding the other T1, so not a massive amount of damage done. But you can see the tier points in the top. You can see how much of a lead Evil Panda Squad already have. Further fire being put down. New Multishow enjoying this fact. Just hammering down the opposing T69, who's not too far away, sitting over by the village. Ace comes in onto Bell, and they are being worked away one by one, each and every time, peering over the hill. Netvo is in trouble. He finally gets put out of his misery by New Multishow, racking up 2 kills already in this game. Krium is the next target of focus, and I don't think he's going to last much longer.
He certainly isn't. 186 will finish him off. And once again, you know, Ulanska Fantazja playing aggressively, but not having the execution to really put it off. On Himmelsdorf, they went forwards, but then were too tentative. And now on step, Prokhorovka even pushing far forwards, but not managing to get the damage down. Obviously, the MX-90s were in reload. Rabbi Appeal's now going to get taken down by New Multishow. He's picking up his 3rd frag for this round standard. You know, if New Multishow doesn't get at least a couple of frags in the game, he's doing something wrong, and we should all be very worried. So another win for Evil Panda Squad. I'm not really sure if they played particularly well either, but they just played. Ulanska Fantazja just couldn't pick themselves up here. Finally, crazy catch-up will get taken down in that T1 by Eclipse in his T1. So
wow,
that was a pretty fast. Game.
I don't know what's wrong with Fantazja right now. Are they getting a little bit itchy and not, you know, knowing where any other key than W is? Like, I like aggression. Don't get me wrong. A good aggressive game of World of Tanks is like, that's pretty awesome. It reminds me of the finals of the offline events, but they're going a little bit crazy.
That was a little bit far, I think, you know.
They had a great advantage, but once again, it felt as though they did well. They went, okay, this is how you want to offset their pace. What do we do now we've done it? They had no actual idea of how to deal with New Multishow or any of the other T69s that were keeping eyes on them so heavily, and they got worked down one by one. Yeah. Okay, let's put it into an actual practical thing. If, let's say, they pulled that off, they went aggressive, right? You've got those T69s just above you. How can they actually use that to kind of actually win that map? Because in that situation, I didn't feel they actually could. Is there any way they could have done that better?
Well, I think, you know, they should have pushed straight in. The element of surprise would have been pretty much their only advantage. You know, instead of going to the right of that little mound, they should have gone to the left, straight into Evil Panda Squad. Obviously, the AMX 1390, which has about a 30-second or 40-second reload, that would have not quite been there. It would have had another 10 seconds to go, but the T69s would have had, and they would have had the better position. They would have had the higher ground. So put your T69s up there. Have the 3090s run in to get the distractions. The T69s get the shots off into the back, take down those AMX 3090s. Actually, I think the better tanks to take down would have been the T69s, and then have your AMX 3090s deal with their AMX 3090s. Let your T69s reload and let them just roll in and finish off the low HP 1390. So I think that's what should have happened. But once again, pushing in, lacking execution, couldn't quite bring themselves to the next level. And I think, that's a little bit of a problem. You can see the inexperience in their team. And I think as they grow through the season, we will see them pulling off moves like that. But for now, they need a little bit more practice. They need a little bit more guts, perhaps, just to push through and make the next step. Go over that little hill. It's only 50 meters. Just make that step.
We're going to have to see. It's not going to be the easiest task in the world, but they're going aggressive already. You know what I mean? They're already kind of biting the bullet, and they're going, okay, let's try our luck here. Let's go aggressive enough that we can challenge.
Yeah.
Let's try and offset the trend. And fair enough, they're doing it. But then it feels as though they kind of get to that point, and they're like, we've gone too far, guys. I can't deal with this anymore. Numulcho is annihilating us. We need to back away. And they just kind of get left out. But I want to see what they've got lined up for the next map, because they clearly have their own kind of strategies and takes on how they like to play out these maps. And Abby doesn't normally allow for that aggression. There's too many routes that can be taken that can counter just an all-in push. So yeah. I'm curious to see what they can come out with here, because I don't think it'll quite play out like your Himmelsdorfs or your Prokhorovkas. But anyway, I think they're ready for the tank picking. So what do you think we're going to see? Are we going to see one of those crazy picks coming out that we might have seen kind of towards Himmelsdorf? Or is this going to be a normal pick and they start playing a little bit more passively?
Well, for Evil Panda Squad, I think their train of thinking will be okay. Ulanska Fantazja has pushed us really hard every single game. Let's just see if we can take some lineups that will be able to counter that. So, go for your higher damage tanks, perhaps even put an AMX 5100 there, or even two. And obviously there's the AMX 3090, which they have started picking here to really back them up. So T1 AMX 3090 for the side of Ulani. Evil Panda Squad taking that as well, so the T1 AMX 3090. Second picks or third and fourth picks, depends which one you like. The T1, the AMX 3090 for Ulani as well. So Ulani playing some pretty aggressive tactics. That's why they're going for those, standard lineups. The fast AMX 3090 are backed up with the kind of high firepower, high alpha damage, or high rate of fire, high damage per minute of the T69. And Ulani will be picking an AMX 3090 and T69 for their second to last pick. Evil Panda Squad going for that T1 and T69 for their second to last pick. So just waiting on Evil Panda Squad to pick next. At the moment, quite unusual just by the fact that no team has taken anything apart from the 3090 and the T69s. You usually see one take perhaps like a 5100. But these teams just going straight off for the normal lineup. T69, T69 for the last picks of these two teams. So triple AMX 3090, double T69. That's for the side of Ulani. Evil Panda going for the triple T69, double AMX 3090, double T1. So it's kind of strange, because we saw this lineup being picked on maps like Prokhorovka and Steppes because it is so fast and so dynamic. Yeah. But on maps where it's such a unique map, Abby, you would have expected tanks which are unique to be picked. Like Abby, let's say, is good for the T32 because it's got a lot of hull down position. Obviously, the T32 is a great hull down tank. Things like that. That kind of comes into the equation. The AMX 1390 able to deal with a good push on Abby, and it's still fast enough to navigate throughout the map. But these two teams wanting to start off with a reliable lineup, perhaps. And I've never really been that impressed with the 5100 on Abby anyway. So perhaps some smart thinking from these two.
Yeah, it may very well be. I'm curious to see how they play this out. We all know how this map should go. We've seen, Kazna Crew are one of my favorites on this map, always very well executed in any strategies they pull out. I didn't really turn up as much as I'd like them to on the offline events, but they're certainly a team I look to for their strategies on this. But I don't know about Evil Panda Squad here. They've had their moments. They've had some brilliant games on here themselves, and they've also had some atrocious ones. But Fantazja, the way they're playing, I daren't only think as to what we're going to be in for, because it's a little bit of a I don't know. There's variation, but there's normally 3 types. You know what I mean? There's the 3 ways you can play this out normally. Obviously, the blue spawn has certain areas they generally go towards that benefit them. And then you have the south spawn that benefits them in a certain aspect. But I don't know what to expect from Fantazja because they keep kind of doing these crazy things that it's fine. But I feel as though they might shoot themselves in the foot here if they don't play it a little bit more normally. And I'd quite like to see them in a normal game for them because every single one so far has been a little bit, okay, let's push them. Okay, let's go crazy aggressive. I'd like to see them slow it down a little bit and try and play a normal Abby. But whether or not we're going to see that, I actually have no idea. But what sort of aggressive tactics do you think that Fantazja could pull out here?
Well, I think regardless of their tactics, I think Evil Panda Squad is the much better team. This was the actual map they beat WoT Pro in the grand finals on really well. They completely crushed them. Really smart playing by them. And I think Ulanska Fantazja is going to be particularly happy about that because they are 2 maps down, losing Himmelsdorf and Prokhorovka. Best of 5 means that we will be playing all 5 maps just because of the way we've changed the season. We've had a big rule change. Let's hope I can explain it within the short amount of time. Basically, because of the draws, we don't like them. We have all 5 maps being played, regardless of the results. And if a draw happens, then instead of playing that map again, we move to the next map. But still, if you want to win a best of 5, you've got to win 3 games. Obviously, if you just win, 3 of them, you win because it's best of 5. It gets a majority. You can win, 3-1, etc., 3-2, or just 3-0. So that's that's the big change for this season. That's a big rule change. I'll see how that one works out. Hopefully, it will do wonders and make the games a little bit more exciting, both for the teams, but also for you guys watching this at home. But yeah, give us your feedback over that as well. /WT Pro League on Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think as we head into this 3rd map on Abby.
Yeah, indeed. So guys, let's have a little intro video as to how Abby can normally be actually played out here.
Welcome to Abby, a hard but gratifying map to master. Abby is 1,000 by 1,000 meters and has 3 main routes of attack. The left mountainous area, through the Abbey in the middle, or in the trench to the right. The housed Abbey area in the middle, the winding trench road, and the treacherous mountainous area. The Abbey area can be moved upon on a central road. Often the 2 teams battle it out for the higher ground. The mountainous area often sees intense action as it overlooks the Abbey and provides key access to the enemy's base. The base area can also be accessed via the trench and is a common route of attack. It is essential to defend your base. Teams must pay close attention to their tank setups and in particular how they utilize them to greatest effects on what is a very complicated map.
Well, thank you very much, Joe Miller, for taking us through how we can actually see this one being played out. But we've seen some insane variation from both of these sides in both tournaments and just this game now. So in the north, in the blue, it will be Evil Panda Squad facing off against the gold and yellow, the new boys to the club. It's Fantazja. Now, what are we seeing from these boys so far?
We're seeing a split push by Fantazja, double AMX 3090 going straight up towards the Abbey, and the rest of the team charging through the trench side. You got the double T69 supported by that Kazani Nevtvo. Excuse me, I just completely butchered your name. He's gone up to try and get the early spots up in the house area, trying to get some spots out. He has actually found one. It will be Sony in that T1. First shot coming out from Belavi, and the other AMX 3090 will take down Sony. So straight away, Ulanska Fantazja, that aggressive play by them is getting them the advantage within the first minute and a half of the game. And obviously in that T1, on such a big and complicated map, as Joe just explained, it's so important. It can do wonders. It can hold whole areas, spot out, cap, put pressure on, and obviously do some damage to the French tanks. First couple of shells coming out. Sony sneaking a good one onto this AMX 3090, taking it down to 899. So now Evil Panda Squad know exactly where the Ulani guys are, and they have got to be careful here, Lauren, because they could easily get caught out.
Well, Zenef is being caught out. He's going to have to back away. He got taken down to 651 there in his 3090. He got 1 shell back onto the team. The teammates in, the team who are in Abbey at the moment, the actual Abbey in the center of the map. I can't talk today is what I'm learning. But now it's all about their reactive play for Evil Panda Squad. I want to see what they can bring. They're an experienced side. They can pull off reactive play, but can they handle the aggression of the Fantazja side. So you can see the vast majority of them are down the 1-2 line. Zenith now joining the rest of his ranks, who are just steps away. And they're just have to be playing, you know, the catch-up game now. They've got to be playing it smart. The other T1 has kind of picked up the mantle towards that central Abbey area and leaving the rest to roam about. Do you think we're going to see an engage down here, or is this going to be a more spread out map that's kind of forced by the hand of the Fantazja side?
I think we're going to see, you know, Fantazja get the force onto Evil Panda Squad straight away. You can see Crazy kept up towards the cap area of Evil Panda Squad. He perhaps will be there just to put the pressure on. If he sits up about here, Evil Panda Squad can't shoot him from any place from the hill. He can be pretty safe, and obviously it takes about 1 minute and 40 to 50 seconds to cap if you have just one player in there. So he could put the pressure on. The other T1 is sitting on the other side of the map, so it won't be a double cap from them, but perhaps Rabio PL will also go in the cap. So at the moment, we see Ulani try one cap tactic on Himmelsdorf. They could try a second time round here on against Evil Panda Squad on Abbey as well. So at the moment, about 4 minutes in, almost 3 minutes even, no action so far, although, you know, the teams has exchanged a little bit of HP, perhaps Ulanska finally getting the upper hand at the beginning of the game, but Evil Panda Squad pushing forwards a little bit more. They've got to be careful because they don't want to, you know, drive around the corner and find the whole of the other team just waiting here. That is one of the old tactics on this map. You can see just in front of New Multishare was the place all the teams used to camp. But no, nothing so far. So he's going to push forwards, get the spot over the cap, perhaps find one of the T1, get that exchange down, make sure they have one T1 for one T1, and then they can perhaps play out from there.
Yeah, it's all down to choices now for Evil Panda Squad. They're playing the game, you know, playing the catch-up game here more than anything, trying to work their way back in. Obviously, losing that HP initially on Zenith is going to be a little bit of an issue, but shouldn't hold them back too massively. Still 651 HP left on him. Do see 3 players, as you said, pushing forward. I think it's the 2 T69s left back, and obviously Eclipse, as you can see, in that central position. So I'm curious to see what you think, or curious to find out what you think maybe keeping the gold and yellow side of Fantazja at bay. What's slowing them down here, or are they making their move?
They're definitely making their move towards the cap. Belavi's gone forwards. He's going to be joining Rabio PL. Ikarum's there, and the last MX-3090 taking out the rear. So perhaps they're going to be looking towards the cap, as I said, trying to put the pressure on. Or they maybe just trying to react to whatever Evil Panda Squad are doing. They got the initial spots out across the hill area. Evil Panda Squad know they did get spotted because they have Sixth Sense. That would have mean they retreated because they expect a push from Ulani. It's like chess. It really is that poker thing where, you know, they're bluffing, they're double bluffing. You know, they're really trying to figure out what the other team is doing and then reacting to it perfectly. That's what Evil Panda Squad do. They have that experience and they play Abbey really well. So you can see them push towards the middle area, but not really found anything. You know, obviously the rest of the MX-3090s from Ulani have vacated there. So now Ulani pushing forward a little bit. Another cut spot coming out. Eclipse being the one spotted by, I believe, the T1 in the middle. He's got some fantastic view range, probably with binocular telescopes giving him plus 25% view range. But at the moment, Ulani quite happy to stay over towards the trench area. Quite happy to keep it kind of cool. You know, that gives them a lot of options. It means they can go towards a cap quickly, and that's both their caps going back to theirs to stop a cap and going to the enemies to put the pressure on in the cap. But nothing really happening. Although this MX-3090 is pushing forwards towards the middle area, perhaps trying to find a couple of tanks from the side of Evil Panda Squad, failing quite miserably to go up this hill, though I must say so myself, and giving up pretty quickly.
Didn't quite do a route,
no.
though, to be fair. That's the ultimate level of disappointment, but does manage to stay on. But as you can see, the Evil Panda Squad are actually laying in wait if they do make their way over the crest of the very tip of the hill. But they're still struggling to actually climb said hill right now. So I think they made it up there, though, bless them. So we might see some action. Eclipse is the one laying in wait, so he'll be the first to probably receive a shell to the face. But nevertheless, there will be a reply coming in. So Netvo has managed to spot him. He'll take him down comfortably. That's a T1 falling quite easily to hands of a 1390. But at least the Evil Panda Squad are keeping tabs on where the opposition is. They're keeping fully aware now. So they have to find the reply. They've lost both their T1s. A little bit of the vision's gone now. It's just the laying in wait 1390s down the bottom of the hill. And obviously the firepower of the T69s just further back. So just waiting to see what comes out. And there's already adjustment from these guys. As soon as they lost that tier 1, they're falling back a touch. But do you think we're now going to see some execution from the Fantazja boys? They've got both T1s down. Is this enough of a go signal for them, or do they still want to do at least a little bit more work here?
Well, if they do anything, it'll mean probably pushing towards the cap of Evil Panda Squad through the kind of central road. You can see Craig Kazani, Netvo pushing that way. I'm going to just call him Bob from now on. I'm not even going to try that one again. And Evil Panda Squad towards this hill area, ready to try and engage any push from them. Although they're kind of retreating now, you can see Ikarum go back in that T69. Rabio Peel's there behind him, and they're going to join up with the other AMX 1390, keeping the one in the middle, though, ready to try and perhaps catch out anything with Evil Panda Squad if they do find them on the rotate. But Ulani switching up a bit, trying another direction of attack, see if they can find something more successful, because so far 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. Both teams don't really have such an advantage, although Ulani, perhaps with both their T1 still alive and Evil Panda Squad, both of them dead, have the slight advantage. But Abby, it's always a tricky one with those T1s. Sometimes they're really useful, and sometimes they're not so useful, unlike Himmelsdorf, let's say, where pretty much every single time they're extremely key. But now Ulani going back, I think they've got to be careful, because they could find themselves get sniped down from Evil Panda Squad, although they are on the other side of the map.
They are indeed, and well, the Evil Panda Squad guys aren't moving, as you can see, completely stationary. Zenith chilling in a bush, taking his time, maxing, relaxing.
Ain't too taxing.
Oh wow, did not expect you to chime in there, and I'm kind of sad you did. But we're just going to see if this one probably going all the way through. And now with the new tournament system in mind, will this just mean we go on to the next map?
It will. Well, yeah, if this is a draw, we'll just go on to the next map, which I'm quite surprised by, because, well, this is Evil Panda Squad's most favorite map in many respects.
Yep.
But, you know, if they can't find a way in, then they can't find a way in. Ulani is trying it. Evil Panda Squad quite happy to stay back. They are 2 maps up at this point. But there we go. One of their T1s finally does get taken down from the side of Ulani. But if they can find anything for Evil Panda Squad within the next 55 seconds and take that down, it will give them the tier 8 point of an advantage. It give them tier 9 points of advantage, in fact. So that will take them over the threshold they need to win. Obviously, 8 points equals a win. 8 points more than the enemy team. You don't have to kill them. You don't have to cap. But pushing forwards now, 1390 is going first, 1,440 damage coming out. That 6-shell autoloader, the F3 gun of doom. Gun depression lacking, though, perhaps, in Abby.
Please tell me they're not actually making a move here with 30 seconds remaining.
They are making a move, but I don't think they're going to be in time, to be honest.
Yeah, those T69s are just sitting back, as you can see, for Evil Panda Squad. They're not too far away now from the opposition, but as you said, I don't think there's enough time left. 13 seconds on the board. The base is being captured, and there's just not that much time. It's all even on tier points. Numolsho is backing away now. And, well, Team Fantazja is surely just not going to invest here. This would hand the game. No, there we go. Thank God for that. It was a draw. I was a little bit confused, and I was like, guys, why are you wanting to lose this?
Yeah.
You could have played it out. You know, the new tournament system, it will take you on to, you know, a 4th map. You can start building back there if you really need to. Don't throw it away now. Going head first into New Multi-Show, who literally ripped you apart 1 map ago, is not really how you want to go about things. You know, as much as I'm not a tactical genius.
It's true.
Shut up. I know not to do that.
First,
I've been nice, right?
First insult of the season in there. Nice. I got my bag of insults here. But yeah, this is good, though, because we get to show the people how our new system's going to go into play, because this doesn't mean we'll go through Abbey again. We'll be moving on to our next map, which will be Ents. So our new rule says we play all 5 maps. Draws is a draw, meaning we go on to the next map. We're not going to replay Abbey again. So that's awesome, because that means we don't get another draw. Remember on Prokhorovka, where we had 7 draws in a row. We do not want that ever again. So Ents will be our next map. So hopefully they can, yeah, they know it. Sony's been reading the rules. Good to see that. So they're going to start tank picking as well. Hopefully we can get into that into a second, but Ulani still haven't changed the map.
Kids these days.
Indeed.
We're getting underway nice and quickly. As we said, it's I think they're just trying to catch up on the rule set as well, because this is what we're trying. It's a new thing for Season 3, because as much as we love draws, I thoroughly enjoyed those 7 replays of one very still map. I want to get rid of that. So let us know your thoughts towards that as well. You saw our Twitters. Feel free to tweet at us, but make sure you tweet at WoT Pro League and give your feedback towards the new rule set, because it will mean you get to see more World of Tanks, and it does also mean you get to see, well, less draws, which is pretty damn impressive. So anyway, hopefully they can get picking pretty quickly. Ensk is one of those maps. It should be fairly straightforward. We've seen some weird picks, like the KV5 coming out occasionally, which was just like, what the hell are you guys doing? But I don't think we'll see that here. I don't think we've seen enough craziness for that to be kind of taken into account. Even though Fantazja are a little bit strange, I don't think they'd slow down by picking that up. If anything, they go for quite a fast lineup, as we've seen. They enjoy their oddly fast tactics. But what we've seen so far?
So T1 AMX 5100 from the Evil Panda squad side, picking that off. Obviously, perhaps their new player will be taking out that one. I believe one of the tournament counts is Mungan for the win. It could be UCI NPL as well. I'm not sure which one it is, but both of them very good players. Mungan is the heavy tank player, so probably will be him. Next pick from Ulani will be T1 AIS3 as well. Next from that will be Evil Panda squad taking the T1 IS3, and that will be mirrored by Ulani. So at the moment, both teams liking that kind of French, Russian tier 8 heavy tank lineups. Obviously, very, very good French tank, able to pump out a good 1.8k damage. So with the SA-47, the IS3 be online, able to do 390 average damage. So it's got that alpha. Very good for a map like Ensk, where the corner fighting is so important. You want to be getting that one shot off, which could potentially do some serious damage, easily going up to that 480 mark. So 2 times AMX 5100 coming out from Ulani as well. That will be their second to last pick. We'll have to see if that T69 will be picked as their last one, and that goes for Evil Panda squad as well. So at the moment, both teams going as they did in Season 2, which isn't really that surprising because we're still sitting on 8.7 at the moment. We'll have to wait and to see on Wednesday when we finally do get 8.8, and obviously our next show after this is on Thursday, so we could see a completely different season from there on out, with tanks being changed up. Obviously got the T-34-3, which has 390 average damage, but only 250 penetration with that heat ammo, so that could be used on maps like Steppes where you get a lot of French tanks. But perhaps not. Maybe the penetration isn't quite up there. But if they do use it, 11 seconds reload, plenty of damage in that gun. So final pick from the side of Ulani will be the T69. Final pick from the Evil Panda squad will be the 5100. So indeed, for Evil Panda squad going for the triple AMX 5100, double IS3, double T1. Ulani going for that double AMX 5100, double IS3, double T1, and that T69 to back them up.
It's a lot of words there for you, Oliver. I'm glad you handled that so well. Anyway, both teams are ready, so we're almost going to get underway into Ensk, which will be our 4th map now?
Yes.
There we go. It's going to be a whole new counting experience for me. I'm a very simple person with the only ability to count to 5, so we are going to wait on just to get counting down. But while they wait, let's throw you into a video kindly put together by the one and only Joseph Beautiful Miller with a stunning voice to take you through Ensk.
Ensk is a simple map on the face of it, but requires the most skillful team play to play properly. Being such a small map at 600 by 600 meters, the areas of attack are confined to through the city, through the railroads, or through the green zone. The fearsome city side, often famed for its fierce firefights, the railroads and green zone areas are hard to play as they have many death alleys. The railroads provide little cover but good sniping locations. Tanks can shoot over and navigate through the trains to ambush and weaken the opposition. When playing Ensk, always keep in mind that teams may try and rush for the cap and not go for the city brawl. Also, take tanks that can both deal a lot of damage and react quickly to situations.
Well, move out indeed. Let's see if we can react quickly to the situations. And we are seeing the south spawn, the blue spawn, which is the Evil Panda squad, facing off against the gold and yellow, the team in the north. It will be Fantazja. Now, what are we seeing these guys starting with here?
They look pretty aggressive at the moment, like on Himmelsdorf, pushing pretty far forward with the AMX 5100. They have got the double I3s to back them up as well, so don't have to worry too much. But going for the standard tactics, quite unusual for Ulani. They like throwing it out, although, Rabi OP on that T69 going straight towards the green zone, which is really unusual. Evil Panda squad gone aggressive as well. They've gone straight up towards getting the initial proxy spots. Sony's going to be there to try and deal the first couple of shots. He won't manage to connect them. He isn't at T1, so probably won't do any damage anyway. So Ace and Pointer playing those two IS3s, gone forwards behind the house. Standard tactic from the side of Evil Panda squad. Couple of shells being exchanged. The side of Ulani getting the higher damage roll. 395, obviously, since it is coming from an IS3. Perhaps a low damage roll when you consider 390 is the average damage. But second shell also coming out from Pointer, not doing any damage, although taking out the observation device. But both teams kind of jousting a little bit. But, Ulani pushing forwards in that T69 as well, so they'll have that damage from behind.
Oh, and look who's going towards the cap. Eclipse is in trouble here as well. Both of the T1s from the Fantazja side are going to be putting the pressure on straight away. Eclipse trying to get the hell out of there. And how is this affecting the guys here? Oh, well, they're going to have to back away. Those IS-3s could cause havoc now for the Evil Panda squad. Both IS-3s sticking back, trying to fend off. You can see the rest of them, the 5100s, getting back towards the cap point. And here comes the Fantazja side, really pushing through, looking for their way in. EJS, a.k.a. Ace, is now surrounded. He's got some real damage being dealt. 655 is now left onto him. The clock is still ticking. 10 seconds remain. These guys are going right down to the wire here. They've got to stop it, but look at this exchange. Ace is going down. The base, was that actually captured then?
It was up to 100%, but new multi-show came in.
Oh my word, new multi-show once again going clutch, but that clock is still ticking. This is unbelievably close. Everyone is being focused down right now. And well, Fantazja have won that little inner city battle. That's forced the Evil Panda squad to back away. Both bases are being captured. Zenef's in trouble. And Fantazja are really giving us a good show here. New multi-show has not managed to actually take down those players by the cap point. Surely Zenef is going down to the hands of NetVote. He's just about managed to get away. The new multi-show still battling out, taking down Ketchup, now looking for the rest. And Rab is just steps away. Zenef now playing more passively. I want to see what he's doing. 81 HP now. Try and challenge that T69. The T69 is probably just waiting for his moment. He knows he's got time here. Numolcho backing away, actually, repositioning to try and challenge on this one. And is that the correct choice to be making?
He's actually got 40 seconds of reload left. Rabio PL is also reloading. He missed his last shell. But look at this. Belavi is going to try and finish off this MX5100.
Oh, my word. And, well, Netvo did find the 5100 indeed. And now, well, Evil Panda squad are in trouble. They only have 2 T1s and Numolcho alive. Numolcho does have only 81 HP, and I don't know what he can do here. The rest of the team are going down in absolute flames. Eclipse is the only other one standing. Sony did fall down, and now Numolcho running his little legs off, trying to help out his last standing teammate. Maybe Rab will miss the shot. He certainly won't. As now at T69 against 5100 battle will once again commence. Surely Numolcho cannot do this. This is no position for him to get this done, but he's certainly a talented player, but this is pushing it right to the limits. Look at the tier point advantage. Look at the time left. Surely he can do nothing here but die, but if there's any man who can, it will be Numolcho, but I just don't know if it's even possible right here.
He's going to attempt.
Oh, he's going to go for it, taking him down to 115. Misses the second shot by an inch. Backs away now. He knows he's going to be focused down. He knows he's in trouble. Can he dodge the bullets for 6 minutes and 13 seconds? Missing again. He needs this to land so desperately to take out Rob. Rab will make this possible. The clock now even further against him. The cap is underway. Numolcho, you have a limited amount of options. And Rab knows that. He knows he's just going to have to hold him back, play it smart. What can he do here? 1v2, well, 1v3 make it, with the clock even ticking against him further. More fire coming through, just about staying alive. You can see Bell has shown his face. The shot missed from Rab. This is unbelievably close. How is he alive? I do not know, but he's got to take down these 2 tanks to even get a chance to get back to the cap point. Right, Numolcho is on it. He is going to try and everything he can. Going to be challenging Bell first, back and forth. 1 minute on the board. He literally has seconds to do this now. Every single shot must connect, and it doesn't. Rab will make it count, and Fantazja really showing what they're made of. That was unbelievable stuff from them.
That was incredible.
Oh, my word. I can't believe that just happened. They played that so smart. They split the attention of them, and they just absolutely hammered it through. That was unbelievable.
Perfect split push. Absolutely perfect.
Wow.
I mean, like that T69, I'm not sure if it was 100% necessary to be quite as aggressive with him, because I think Ulanska knew that they wouldn't be able to get the cap out anyway, because the 5100 is quite quick and it will be able to get back to the base in plenty of time. So I think they should put the T69 back. That's just drawing straws. I think they did it pretty well apart from that. The T1s put the pressure in the cap. T69 was there to back them up. Numolcho did actually a very good job to try and stop the cap. He did take out the 2 T1s eventually, but because of the 25 seconds reload on that T69 and the 48 seconds reload on that MX5100, it was able to do the damage, although he did miss a lot actually. And then Ulanska,
which is rare,
yeah, really rare. And then, you know, Ulanska pushed in with the rest of their tanks, and because they had quite a lot of them, the IS-3s and the double MX5100s, they were actually able to take down the whole of Evil Panda squad pretty sharpish. Maybe, I'm not sure why, because I wasn't watching that fight, but I think it was just down to the fact that they were caught a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, most certainly. They did not expect that, because we've seen aggressive play from them so far. We've seen the Fantazja side going all out, but we haven't seen them execute that well. We've seen kind of the all-in, but we haven't seen the smart play, and that was really smart. More of that, and they're certainly going to be challenging for one of those higher spots going forward in this season, because if they can do that on the other maps, if they can really hammer down their split pushes and actually, catch the rotates, play it correctly, in even just the 1v1 situations, what more can you ask for? These guys have stepped up massively on that map. I love that. We're seeing some real potential coming through from one of the newest teams who I hadn't seen before this point, and I've been kind of curious as to what they were doing until just that map ago, and they've shown me that, and I'm like, well, they certainly deserve their spot here. But we are getting ready for the tank picking, so let's throw you into the next map, which will be Steps.
Yeah, so double AMX 3090, double T1 from the start. Well, one AMX 3090, one AMX 3090 from the start, and one T1 from the start as well. So, but yeah, just as a little reminder, whoever wins this one, let's say Evil Panda Squad wins this one, that'll take them to 3 maps, winning, if they win this one, Steps, Prokhorovka, and Himmelsdorf. But if, say, Ulani wins this one, that means they win Ensk and Steps. That means it's a draw. Like, it's straight off a draw. No one won Abbey. We've moved on to the next map, which was Ensk. That means these 2 teams will get 1 point in the season ranking. So, that no team would be a winner. They would have 2 maps each, and 1 map would have been a draw. So one tier point, 1 season ranking point will go to them instead of 3, which you get for a win, and obviously 0 you get for a loss. So that's kind of also brings some new elements perhaps to the season, as teams will be kind of thinking, how can we try and get as many points as possible? Can we draw these maps out? Can we perhaps take these to 2-all to try and nudge the opposition out? So that it brings a whole new level of play and a whole new level of strategy in terms of the points. So tank picking is continuing. T1, T69, double T69 from Ulani. Evil Panda Squad taking the AMX 1390 T69. Last pick from Ulani, the T69. Last pick from Evil Panda Squad, the AMX 1390.
So nothing too crazy coming out, and we're actually seeing a more, well, a dangerous team from the Fantazja guys. And as much as I can't pronounce their names, they're pretty damn talented. I've got to say it. I cannot knock the way they're playing at all now. If they can pull off something similar on Steps, I'll be impressed.
I'll be really impressed. It's just good to see that they can actually execute, because we saw in Himmelsdorf and Prokhorovka that they have the aggression. Correct. And they have that initiative, but they didn't have the execution. On Ends, they show to us that they have the execution as well if they can step up. So that's really good to see, because that shows that they got potential. That shows that they can really take the wins. And this is against Evil Panda Squad. This is our 2nd place finisher, taking away the 21,000 euros. And obviously, huge amount of pride and honor at Gamescom for our Season 2 final. So I can't wait to see how these guys are going to play out throughout the season. Perhaps also maybe feeling a little bit unsure because of their 2 roster changes as well. That can always come in. They can always take it to the next kind of strange area where you don't really know what that synergy is. I mean, Evil Panda Squad have been playing with the same 7 players pretty much since day one. This is literally the team we saw in Go4 WoT 1. So this change could really upset the balance.
It could.
And we can kind of see that because they're a little bit shaky.
They do look a little bit less drilled in the nicest way. They're a team that are fantastically good. I doubted you when you said how good they were at the offline events until I saw them there. They're a team that can...
Never doubt me, Lauren. I think that's the message.
Shut up, you. I don't know why I cast with you. Bring back Steven is all I'm saying. Where is he? I don't even know where he is. He's disappeared. But
probably found some food in the trash or something.
Well, that pizza didn't smell much better. We walked in with the most vile-smelling pizza in the world. But that aside, we are getting very close to find out if this is going to be actually a draw for the very first time here. We're actually going to see Evil Panda Squad just stepping up when it really matters, and they're a team that can do it. This is a danger to them, though. They may have just seen that Fantazja can actually play a good bit of Wild Tanks, but they're a team when they're under pressure, when their back's to the wall, they can step up and step up big. That is their danger. That is what Evil Panda Squad always had. When it comes to offline finals, they turn up. When it comes to those clutch moments, they turn up. Whether it be Numocho on his own or just the entirety of them really locking it down, it doesn't matter. Every single time, they always do so well. And this is what I think might get them this map. So hopefully everyone is ready. We will be getting to hear the lovely tones of Joe Miller once again to take you through what you can be expecting to see on Steps, because there's a lot of variation, there's a lot of tactics, and WoT Tanks isn't the easiest of things to understand sometimes, I've got to say it. But hopefully this will give you an idea, so let's drop into the video.
Steps is the other open map in the map pool, being 1,000 by 1,000, having no urban areas. There are 3 primary routes of attack: the trench, the rocky area to the left, and the middle road. The road offers direct routes to the enemy's base, but despite having a staggering amount of cover along the way, you are vulnerable to attack from all sides. The trench area provides for great engagements as it's only a few hills and rocks to cover the teams. Most of the engagements occur around this rock, the winner of which gains a crucial foothold on the map. The rocky left area provides the most cover for attacking and defending teams. It's essential that you pick tanks that can traverse from one side of the map to the other rapidly. They also must be able to get to the various key locations as quickly as possible. That is the key to victory.
Well, let's see if either of these do have the key to victory, because it is all defining now. So in the south, in blue, it will be Evil Panda Squad. And in the north, in that golden yellow, it will be the new guys to the block. It will be, well, I'm calling them Fantazja, so that's what they're being called for now. But what are we seeing from these guys so far?
So once again, not happy to stick with the status quo. Ulani, Fantazja, pushing straight away forwards the AMX 3090. We've never seen a team do this before, from the north at least.
Ooh.
First couple of shells coming out, missing them onto Sony. But Ulani quite happy to sit back with the T69s. They have got 3 of them here in that double AMX 3090s to provide the spearhead. And that was actually a really good move for them, because they have Belavi getting the initial spots out, making sure Evil Panda Squad can't get the T1 behind that crucial rock and taking him down real quick. And Evil Panda Squad definitely reeling from that one. Played quite aggressive for the first few seconds, then they got that T1 taken out, and now retreating back with the T69s. Doing almost exactly the same as Fantazja. Kind of happy to, it's kind of like guns at dawn, these two teams sitting against each other on the opposite side of maps, about 500 meters between them. And obviously, as I said, you know, whoever wins this one in terms of, if Ulani wins it, then it'll just be 1 point. If Evil Panda Squad wins it, it will be 3 points for them. So it's everything on the line for Evil Panda Squad, but Ulani shaking it up here as well. They're pushing forwards. T69's going first. You've got Belavi and the T69 behind him, as well as Netvo as well in that AMX 1390. They're going to push forwards. Obviously, they are an aggressive team. We've seen that on every single map so far, apart from Avi. On Ents, they played so well. Can they do it again? Can they take this one and take away the 2 points from Evil Panda Squad, which they'll be so desperate to do? And we are an experienced team, but so far lacking execution. Yeah,
well, let's see how they handle this one. Numocho has managed to spot the entirety of the opposition there. He's taken down the first player as the T1. He ammo-racked him. A little bit of an overkill, isn't it, Numocho? But the rest of the side are now backing him up. And you can see the opposition reeling away, trying to get out of the firing range of the likes of Numocho and Pointer. 2 shells have connected onto Rab there, taking down to 915. And now here comes the back and forth between these guys. No one wants to overly peer and peek. Zenef trying to look above, trying to find a pixel that he could connect to. Nothing really happening too easily for him there. So he's going to back away, play this smart. And Evil Panda Squad went directly on the rotate then. Each and every one of them found their way through and tried to make the most of a situation that initially was nowhere near in their favor. Yeah,
it certainly wasn't. They did a good job of a bad situation. Fantazja pushing forwards quite aggressively. Managed to catch Evil Panda Squad also pushing forwards, not so aggressively so far. This team has been the more aggressive one, but they have to make it count, as Zenef has just been spotted again. But at the moment, Fantazja have the HP advantage, although one of them's down to, I think, about 900 HP. The other one on the Evil Panda Squad side is down to 600. So that's 1 shot at least, depending which tank is shooting in terms of HP. But they are going to try and retreat back to their base, go perhaps over towards the trench side. Evil Panda Squad not doing that. Quite happy to try and get some defensive positions, which is perhaps the better idea. On the south, you have quite a lot of cover, quite a lot of good areas to snipe across the map. That goes for, you know, random battles as well as this 7-on-7 42 we see on this format. So Ulani pushing forward towards the trench, and they're quite happy to joust forwards and backwards, trying to find a way into Evil Panda Squad defense, which, as we know, is extremely hard to do.
Yeah, not an easy side to break at all. These guys now playing passively, playing it smart, playing it carefully. Numocho and Pointer just laying in wait. EJS as well. No one wants to make that first move, because that could be the big mistake here. That could be the thing that could cost you the victory. That's the importance of this match now. No one wants to be the one to mess this up. And are we seeing any further adaptation from the Fantazja side?
No, they're going to push forwards hard. MX39 is going to go first. He's going to take a bit of a gamble coming around this corner. If he got caught out by Evil Panda Squad, the whole of them waiting there, he would have been absolutely blown away. But no, making the right decision, pushing forwards. He's going to try and get some spots out. Obviously, this place here will provide him plenty of the cover, as the MX 3090 has such a low profile. So he's going to try and get spots out. T69s will have the gun depression to try and get the damage down, but they can find themselves in a bad situation really fast, so they'll be careful. But luckily, these guys have been good snipers so far, so they don't have to worry too much. But good aggression They're going to try and come around over towards the mountainside. Not spotted so far, not spotted anything so far, but that's, you know, part of their plan. They're definitely not looking to get the spots out here. They're just looking over to get over this hill. But Evil Panda Squad lying in wait, ready to try and deal with anything Fantazja has to throw at them.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, but they're still looking like they're down the, you know, the 2 line. They're not even that cautious of them coming down the right side. Even only the T1 is really keeping eyes on it. You can see that 1390 keeping eyes across the main field, not spotting out towards the right. These guys might not expect this. This could actually bring it back all even in the overall scheme here. If, well, finally, the Fantazja side can actually pull off a really good bit of execution. If they can focus down the correct targets, they can make it count, then we could be seeing a bit of an interesting game. We've seen the first spot coming out there, actually, so Eclipse doing the work in that T1, making sure they can keep hold of it. That T69 has been spotted, but where's the reactive play? Here we go. EJS or Ace is the first one to make the move there, trying to find his way around, maybe get in a position to be able to land a couple of shots if he needs to. We've seen this man sniping before. It's actually pretty damn impressive. And the rest of Fantazja's side is slowly but surely appearing. This could be the engagement we've been waiting for.
Ikarum will be the first one to receive anything if Evil Panda Squad do engage. He's gone quite far forwards, although Kaznani Netvo is there to try and back him up in that MX 3090. The kind of aim down time and accuracy is not really a good thing on that tank, but Belavi's also pushing forwards. Ikarum's going to join him from behind. This is going to be 2 against, well, potentially the whole of Evil Panda Squad, and the first shot coming out, 261 going to Belavi. That's being sniped down by, I believe, Zenef playing the MX 3090, I do believe. He's trying to get the damage down, 240 average on the MX 3090. He's on 5 shells now, 4 I believe actually, so that could be a bad thing for Evil Panda Squad, but you will have new multi shown behind, which is the best thing to have behind you. But Ikarum trying to get some spots. Evil Panda Squad not aggressive. They don't want to push too far forwards. They know, but potentially the whole of Fantazja is waiting just to try and get the sniping out. But at the moment, this is they're kind of like 50 meters away from each other, not really willing to push forwards, not really willing to retreat. But I think, you know, Fantazja's in a position where they have to push forwards. They're not in a position they can retreat, because if you Panda Squad get wind of that, they're just going to push forwards. They're going to snipe them in the behind.
And Zenef is doing just that. He's already got a connection onto Netvo, but receives one back, has to get out of there. And the shells are hot on his heels, left on 580. Can't just go rolling away, has to play this one smart. You can see slowly but surely the Fantazja side are showing their faces towards Evil Panda Squad, who are just playing this passively. More shells connecting, Pointer landing a great one onto that T69, not too far away. And they're just working them down, keeping them at arm's length. They're not just going, you know, hell for leather, they're not going stupidly aggressive. And it's paying off right now. They've managed to work the HP into their favor, I'd say.
I definitely have the HP advantage now. Both, well, 2 tanks on the side of Evil Panda Squad, now down to 600 to 500 HP. And that's what Ulanska Fantazja is going to count on, because they are going to go for the engagement. They want to take that 2 points away. A couple of shells connecting, Pointer doing the damage, though. He's pretty insane with that tank. A laser pointer, some people call him. Netvo trying to push over towards the hill, not managing to do that successfully, although the T69 does have the potential to push it over there. But does he have the gun depression to try and do the damage? But I think Ulani is looking to try and close this one out. Really risky play by these 2 MX 3090s. If they get caught out, they'll get completely focused down, as he is pretty much on his own. He's going to come up from behind. Yeah,
Netvo is going to be charging forward. He's going to get so much fire focused down towards him so early on. 107. He's got to be falling right now. Pointer's received some shells. Belavi has got the next target, and he's down to 47 already. The first man did fall to the hands of Numocho, taking out Netvo. We knew he was going to be the main target. And now here comes that T69. We saw Pointer challenging earlier on, taking down to 621, 408. Well, we do see at least Pointer going down, so they're doing some damage, but right now it's the new multi-show show, as he's just ripping apart the opposition. The Fantazja side made a little bit of a last-ditch effort. They tried to do some work, but now with only 3 tanks standing against a lot more power on the opposite side, it's not going to be an easy task. New multi-show getting a little bit closer to the action, trying to find that T69 of Icarium, who's just backing away, trying to play it smart, but maybe it's too little too late now. We do see such a tier point advantage. Only looking at the top of the screen, you can see that is in favor to the Evil Panda Squad side, and they barely moved a muscle. They lost. Your Pointer was their main person that they lost, and that was about it. And now here comes another last-ditch effort. Rab pushing forward. We saw how well he did on Ensk, but he's not really doing it now. He's taken Numocho fairly low, 2-1-1. And maybe he can take him out here. These two now have pretty much the weight of the world on their shoulders. They can. This is the difference between a draw and a loss. EJS now coming in to try and help out. try and minimize the damage that could be caused. But this is a close situation. But do you think they've really got enough talent to pull this one off?
We'll have to wait and see. I think it's 2 against 4 is pushing it. Although the whole of Evil Panda squad, apart from one tank, is pretty low HP. The MX-3090 will take down that T1, but now we can see the Surge and Rabio and Ikarim pushing forward. They will have the 4-shell autoloader, about 2k damage between them.
Well, there's the first one fallen. That's a new multi-show out of there. He's the man who's been doing so much work. Picking up 3 so far. Gonna be denied 4. Here comes Ace, though, looking to try and do the damage himself. Tries to get involved. 2 T69s just laying away. Oh, he misses the shot. Allows the shell to be connected onto him. 668. And oh my word. Did the clock just run out then?
It did just run out. Brilliant play by Evil Panda squad.
They really worked it down that much?
It was by a second. They lost.
Wow.
If they lost that second tank, if I think it was Ikarim tried to make that last shell onto Sony. If he had made this one, that would have pushed them over the edge. But because they had the extra 8 point, they had 24 to 16, I believe. Evil Panda squad actually taking it. That was by seconds, literally. But good start for Evil Panda squad. A win.
Yeah, a good start for them, but it's also a very good showing for the Fantazja side.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, these guys are new to this entire league. They just had to face off against the surprise of last season. Evil Panda squad, I can't speak today. Evil Panda squad went all the way through at the grand finals of last season to just come second to the very top team who only lost 2 matches during the entirety of the season. So that's the gravity of how good Evil Panda squad can play when they're pushed towards it. They're one of the most talented sides. And to be able to already turn up and kind of challenge them, we saw a fantastic bit of execution on Ensk. A close game happening a couple of times. Himmelsdorf was interesting. If they did what they did on Ensk on Himmelsdorf, I feel as though this would be a completely different game. But maybe that just a little bit of a starting nerves may have kicked in then. But anyway, overall, as we said, Evil Panda squad there with the victory. And that's going to be putting them in a good kind of confident area because there's a lot of question marks raised around their performance sometimes. And, you know, they did scrape through in 6th position into the finals of the last season. It's nice to see them getting off to a good start, I've got to say it myself.
I'm very happy for them. They can be inconsistent online. We've seen that before, as you said, 6th place. I'm glad they've started off here with a win. That'll give them the confidence, which they definitely need, the momentum to go forwards. Ulanska Fantazja, you know, shouldn't be kicking themselves here. They played very well. I think lacking in execution, not really, you know, losing. You know, Evil Panda squad didn't really win it. They kind of just set back and let Fantazja make the inexperienced mistakes. Very much like we saw Team WD, formerly known as Hunt Underdogs, beginning of Season 2 do. So inexperienced teams always coming in a little bit too fast, a little bit too furious, making the initial mistakes. And the more experienced teams quite happy to just wait for them and really just you know, get the wins they need, which is so essential because Evil Panda squad could see themselves not in that top 6 position if they don't get the ones against the inexperienced teams.
So, you know, you say that though, right? If, let's say, the Fantazja side get the pace correct, that offsets some of the best teams. We've seen Spale. If you don't know who Spale are, go make sure you watch the VODs on the WoT Pro League website because in Season 2, they're always the ones that can beat Virtus Pro every single time. They're the only team who can keep that kind of aggression that offsets the pace. If, let's say, Fantazja can find that kind of middle ground where they go, okay, let's get that nice aggressive start, offset their comfortable area, and then we can kind of execute our strategies. That's a dangerous, you know, skill to have on your side. If you can stay confident and aggressive, but then execute well, that is a real skill to have and certainly could challenge a big boy. So I want to keep eyes on them because they've certainly impressed me today.
I'm very impressed by them. Hoping to see them. They continue improving throughout the season. Also, Evil Panda squad, I hope they see them. But our next match is also for some good ones because we've got Team WD against Dinova, our 4th place finishers, against our 7th place finishers of Season 2. Dinova losing quite horrendously against Kaznakru in the small finals at Gamescom. Knocking them down to the 8K instead of the 15K, but they'll be pretty happy with their result, considering that perhaps they are one of the teams that's had the biggest roster changes throughout the Season 2. You know, we saw Ronnie in the initial video talking about how it's so important for them to do well at these events. And I think they can be confident coming into the season. They can be happy with their performance, and they can grow as a team. And you know, this is the team which I'm rooting for to be a top 3, perhaps go all the way in Season 3. We'll have to see how they progress.
You've always backed them.
I always back them just because I see the potential. But they have to get this first win.
They do, and the best thing between these two, every time they played, I think it was, let me just check my notes. Dinova won the first game 3-0. Then on the comeback, Team WD actually picked up the game. I think it was like 3-1 or something crazy like that. So it's always been very close between these two. Bear that in mind. Now, we're going to pass over to someone who's absolutely lovely and can kind of tell you how to get involved because my predictions, once again, I have no idea where to go on this because Denova really didn't impress me that much at Gamescom. I've got to say, they're a great, talented side, but they really didn't turn up. But then again, they're more comfortable in these kind of online events where they can get comfortable at home and they're in their own element. And Team WD always have that real threat to them, so bear that in mind. But anyway, we're going to pass over to the lovely lady who can tell you how you can get involved via social media. So Melly, how are we doing over there?
We're great, and first I want to give you the results of the last votes and of our contest regarding guessing the right outcome of the match. And yeah, first the results of the votes still pretty clear for Evil Panda Squad, 90%.
Wow.
To of course 10%, and yeah, we had around 150 people trying to guess the exact outcome of the match. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
Incredible. And I already picked a couple winners. No, 3. Not a couple. I learned a couple is 2 people.
Unbelievable.
No, it's different in German. That's why I always use it wrong. But beside that, you can also win bonus codes by participating via Twitter, handing in questions, giving your opinions and stuff like that. And we have a couple of questions.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
No, they're pretty easy.
Okay.
And first, we had a pretty major rule change for this season. Could you shortly take us through this? People asked.
That's all his job.
So, hopefully I get this right, otherwise I'm going to get bollocking from
see
Stephen.
something just fly across the studio.
Yeah.
There's already something lined up after that word he just used, but you know, we'll leave that alone.
So, it's basically, it's not actually that hard. We have 5 maps, basically. The most important thing to remember is that a draw is now a draw. If you play, let's say, we saw Abby in that last match, the team's drawed, and then we moved on to the next map, which is Abbey. There's no second chances on the map. We just move to the next one. So it's completely cancelled out. We don't go through it again. All 5 maps are played. So let's say Evil Panda Squad went 3-0 up. We still played the last 2 maps, which is very important to remember because, you know, you've got to get the practice in. And what's very nice about the last one is that if the Ulanska Fantazja guys won, it would have brought it up to 2-2, which would have been 1 point in the season ranking for each. It wouldn't have been the 3 if you win. It wouldn't have been the 0 if you lose. It would have just been the 1. So that's very important as well. So that kind of changes the whole dynamic of the season as teams start getting 1 point here and there, and they kind of think, oh, can we you know, draw this map out, win this map? We need to, you know, really focus on getting better on this map, and you know, go for the late game. You know, go for that 5th map. We'll see if they can, you know, get the. They need the. Some teams always do well in the first 2 or 3, and then kind of slow down. So they need to get the longevity in their play as well. And so it changes the whole season. And I'm looking forward to see which team can really step up to these rules. Hopefully, it will make the show a little bit more enjoyable for the teams playing, but also more importantly for you guys at home. But that's basically it.
And if you want a coherent responses to what the rules actually are, go on to the WoTProLeague.com website.
I also wrote that as well, so.
Maybe not there then, but I'm sure somewhere on the ESL website there will be a coherent explanation as to how it goes down. It's not that hard, I assure you, but he's not that good at explaining anything. That's why I do the talking. Any other questions, Melly?
Yes. So one community member in the chat asked, well, told that he's really interested in the new German line of tank destroyers. And he would kindly ask some moderators around here what expectations do they have on the new tank destroyers, and if it's true that they will have autoloaders. Do you have any clue?
To be fair,
I promised to ask it.
I'm not really a massive fan of tank destroyers, although it was like the first line I ever grinded with tanks. It's not really my area of expertise. I only know the fact that the I think it's the WE100 or something is going to be the tier 10, and heard something about an autoloader. But yeah, it's not really my thing, tank destroyer, so I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay.
Sorry.
And no, it's okay. I think it's okay. And not a question, but something very nice. Our dearest Tatus wants to open a Pretty Boy fan club just for you, because we're always so mean to you, and he wanted to show you some.
I've already got a few of those, so just join. / Ollie Pretty Boy fan club.
I would think about that. Okay, well, that was all. If you have any questions, just keep them coming via Twitter or Facebook or the Twitch chat. I'm hanging around there, in there, and waiting for you to talk to me. That's why I'm here.
Brilliant.
And the next vote for the upcoming matchup, Dinova versus WD, will be up in a few minutes. And there will be a poll also, so check our Facebook page.
Yeah, we know you like a good poll, don't you, Oliver?
Unbelievable.
Welcome back, folks.
It's almost better than that one you did to me at Gamescom. So.
I didn't do anything to you, Oliver. You only did it to yourself.
We'll see about that. This is the beginning, folks. Don't you worry.
It's the beginning of the end. But anyway, that was the first game out of the way. Melly, are you done? I don't want to, stress you. You done your social media stuff? Good. All right. Just making sure. Okay, we're just making sure. It's the first day back here at World of Tanks. All right. It's a slow but arduous process with us. But anyway, we've got the first game down. We've seen Evil Panda Squad picking up a pretty important victory there. I've got to say it for them, being able to go forward and actually, get off to a good start. But we've had not necessarily an upset, but we've seen a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel with some of the new teams coming in who can certainly compete and really bring out some interesting tactics. But that aside, we have two of the favourites who've been going head-to-head, who didn't quite make it all the way to the finals and do what they should have done. Team WD didn't make it there. And actually, Dinova barely turned up at all. So these two have a lot to prove now into Season 3. He's always backed them, like literally to the absolute utmost. He was like, John, this is their event to turn up. They can do really well. And they did awfully, if I'm completely honest with you. They did a bit of a Kazna crew.
They came 4th. It's not that bad.
Out of how many teams?
6.
It's not great, is it?
Well, 12 if you count all of them.
Let's be serious. How many are at the offline finals?
5.
I know your maths is lacking, but not great results going in from Dinova there. But they're a team that can turn up when they're kind of pushed to it. They do have talent. I can't deny them that. But they do need to prove what they're made of in Season 3. So do stay tuned, guys. We'll be back with Team WD up against Dinova in just a moment here at the WoT Pro League Season 3 first game day.